Now ending it off with the performance, this device does have that Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 chipset and octa-core CPU, and again, only one model of this phone with 8 gigs of RAM, and as I mentioned before, I think this is one of my favorite things about this phone. The performance of this phone is still extremely solid. Now let me break it down to you pretty much like this. For basic tasks, as I've always mentioned, and I'll continue to mention it like this phone's performance is going to be up there with a lot of phones, that have ever come out in terms of a performance standpoint for the basic tasks. Again, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to have some issues here and there, but I think for a majority of people out there, no matter what you're going to do, the performance for the basic things like Snapchat, Instagram, this and that, you're going to have a really good time with it. And I think that is something that's very, very worthwhile to mention in my opinion. Now, taking a step further, if you're somebody who wants to go ahead and go up to like more intense things, maybe multitasking between a ton of, heavy apps, maybe video editing with a 4K footage and all this other crazy stuff, you're also going to have a pretty decent time with it. I think the only thing that's really going to limit it shouldn't be this way, but the RAM management of this phone was a little iffy, and I think it mostly has to do with the software. These Samsung phones need a lot of RAM in order to be kind of comparable to maybe like a Pixel device with stock Android that maybe has like less RAM, and this happens all the time. Every year I see it happen every year, time and time again. You'll have a Samsung phone that has like 8 gigs of RAM, a Pixel that'll have 6, and sometimes the Pixels are able to kind of go over the, specific Samsung device. And again, it's not perfect, it does come here and there, but it is something to kind of keep in mind. So I think the overall performance of the Note 10 is still really good. I think you're going to have a really good time with this phone. Again, it's not perfect, but I think for a majority of people out there, it gets the job done. And I think if you're trying to use a phone for really any purpose, in terms of a performance standpoint, you're going to have a really good performance set on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. So that pretty much covers it up there. And